This TK Irish coming from, that's right, Camp Kennerk. Man, I tell you what, it's been exciting around here, Douglas. Today's been a great day. I actually, it's my first day of retirement. And I retire, people say you retire, and other people say you retire due to illness. Well, I think I had to retire due to illness because they got sick of me, but that's beside the point. We're not going to go any further than that. But I'm getting ready to do some traveling and stuff, and I was going through my closet looking at my fall clothes. And every wardrobe a gentleman has always has to have a Harris tweed sport coat. And I pulled mine out and I looked at it. I've had it for, it's one of those pieces of clothing gets better with age. It gets a little bent here, a little here and there. And I forgot that Irish tweed is made out just outside the city of Cork in Ireland. I knew it was, and so this is the only place in the world that you could actually get the authentic Irish tweed. They just make it right there. And so I started, thinking about Cork, and Cork's a really pretty cool city because, first of all, it's the second largest metro area in Ireland. Now, coming from Texas, that doesn't mean a whole lot, but they have, huge port, they got manufacturing, tourism, but the thing that you really want to go for is salmon fishing. They have the streams, and I was thinking about that. I remember I was in Cork staying at a B&B one time, and it was dinner, having dinner at the B&B. The waiter came up and he says, I don't know what you're going to be ordering tonight. He says, but if you have a little patience, the Sean just got back with some salmon that he caught about 20 minutes ago. If you want to wait, we'll cook that up for you. And I mean, it doesn't got much more authentic than that, does it, Douglas? You know?
DK, that is a terrific, terrific story. I have been to Cork, so
Mhm.
I know the beauty of Cork. I would love to go back again, and maybe that's on your bucket list is to going back to Cork.
Oh yeah, yeah. Of course, they have one of the oldest ports in Europe. I mean, it goes back to like 1750. So I really wonder how they came up with the name Cork. I mean, of course, the men in mind that I have, I'm thinking, bottle of wine, get the cork, or the Irish whiskey with a cork on it. But who knows how they came up with it? But it's a name that you remember, and it's a city that you really want to go to.
It's probably a name from the Vikings.
Oh, yeah, that could be.
Yes. Yeah, it could be. You see, and I've since the Vikings are pals of mine, you know.
Oh,
Yeah, yes. Olaf and Red, Olaf and Thor, those guys, they were around the pub the other day watching the Cowboy game, and they
yeah,
said that the name Cork is the Viking derivative of Kennerk.
yeah. Yeah, it's funny you say that because I've heard other people, Viking or people from Sweden say, "Oh, Kennerk, that's a derivative of being cool." I'm going, whatever, whatever. As long as it's positive, you can call me anything you want.
Especially for dinner.
Exactly. Gosh, don't miss dinner. So, but yeah, it's fun. The first day of being retired after 49 years of being in the marketing and advertising business gives me some last couple of days to pause, to reflect, to think back what marketing and advertising was in 1977. We didn't have analytics, we didn't have social media. It was basically you advertised on TV, radio, on the newspaper, magazine, or direct mail. That was it. And so it was good. But before I forget, I forgot my Dr. Pepper.
I've got my Dr. Pepper right here too. Mm-mm-mm.
Salute.
So, Shante, isn't it? What do you say in Ireland? Shante.
I said, drink up.
No, how do you say cheers in Ireland?
Cheers.
Sante. Shante.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I know more about it than you do, and I'm
I
Scottish.
know. I know.
Well, TK, that's a beautiful story about the beginning of your marketing career. Uh, Tell me something. Now, you're from Indiana and you're very proud to be from Indiana.
Yes.
Where are you from in Indiana?
Fort Wayne, Indiana. It's up in the north eastern corner. It's called the Tri-State area. It's right there in the corner of Michigan, Ohio, and Indiana. The Michigan's 30 minutes away. Ohio is about 45 minutes away, and Indiana's Indiana.
And Fort Wayne,
Yes,
Indiana.
Fort Wayne. Yes.
Okay, now, how did your family end up in Fort Wayne, Indiana?
Well, about 1820, during the revolution with the British, I had an ancestor that really didn't share the same thoughts with the British on how the government should be run.
Runs in
So,
the family, doesn't it?
yeah, yeah. So apple didn't fall far from the tree, but he went a stowaway on a ship and was out in sea for 3 days before he came out of stowaway. Of course, they're 3 days out in the ocean, and they put him to work, and he landed on the east coast of the United States. From there, he got a job. At that time, they were digging the Erie Canal from up through New York, Pennsylvania,
Yes, 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 yeah.
and he got a job there digging, and he dug it from Pennsylvania all the way to Indiana.
Okay,
That's
now do you know where your ancestor came in the early 1800s? Or
They
the,
came from county from Limerick, County
from
Clare.
Limerick, came from Limerick. Oh,
Yes, yes.
now, do you think it was during the potato famine? Do you think it was that
No, the
period?
famine was a little bit later.
Yeah, in the
They,
1845 to
yeah, yeah,
1852.
yeah.
Yes.
So,
But do you think he was there earlier?
yeah. Oh, I know he does. We have a deep genealogy study of the family. I've been back where the boat that he left, where he left from, and the family's always been very big in the genealogy, tracking where people are, where they've been, and their stories and things of that nature.
Oh, my dad got into that in the early days before the computers, and he did some research too, and he found out that all the ancestors didn't have any money, so he stopped.
He was thinking he might find a little hidden gold vein, huh?
That rich uncle.
Yeah, yeah.
He stopped.
Ah, what the heck? It's a waste of time.
Yeah, and he found a couple of pieces of paper where the Golan name had been changed a couple of times on some
Hmm.
land records,
Yeah,
So
that's the same with the Kennerk name. It's been different spellings over the years.
yeah, well, that's where we got the story Cork, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's pretty good story that he dug the Erie Canal all the way to Fort Wayne.
Hmm.
Then the family started there in Fort Wayne.
Yeah, yeah. He stopped, he had that shovel in his hand long enough. He was a farmer and carpenter, so the soil was just right, and there's a lot of ash trees, different type of species of wood that he could work with. So he stopped there and met a young lady by the name of Katie Hooligan. A nice
Hooligan.
Hooligan, they
Oh,
got
good Irish name.
good Irish lass, and they married and started a family, and just everyone stayed there until my generation. We decided to sprout out, see other parts of the country, and
Okay. All right. So, and you come from a big family, correct?
yeah, yeah. I'm the youngest of eight, and
Oh, you're the baby?
I am the baby. I'm the little one.
I did not know that.
And my father was the oldest of seven.
Yes.
So that multiplier effect kicks in real fast.
And that's just your generation and his generation.
Yes, yes. So, just the fact that my generation, just with my immediate family, I have over 50 nieces and nephews.
Oh, I see. That's why the modern definition of the word Kennerk means everywhere.
Yes, that's right. I'm gonna contact Google and make sure they change that in their definitions.
Yeah, AI.
AI, hey, that's right, AI, excuse me.
Kennerk means everywhere.
So, and primarily, a lot of them were farmers. That's my aunts and uncles were farmers up there, raising different type of crops,
Mhm,
corn, soybeans,
mhm.
whatever they thought could make a living off of.
I understand that. Now, where did you go to high school?
I went to a high school by the name of it was Elmhurst High School, and it's ironic that the Kennerk family has been there so long that my aunts and uncles were some of the original students there. So I mean, you can't hide, Douglas. I mean, you're in the your English class, and they're going through the list the first day, and they say Canary up here, front seat, please, front seat, front seat. I go, well, why haven't I know your uncle, I know your brothers, all of you. So you just automatically you just sit in the front seat to
Yeah,
prevent
yeah.
any issues you might want to say.
Now, where you were in Elmhurst High School?
Yes,
Were you the Lions, Tigers, or Bears?
the Trojans.
Trojans. Oh, we won't go there.
Serious. I'm, yeah.
Now, did you play any sports in high school?
Yeah, I played football
Huh?
and
What position?
I was a kicker.
A kicker.
Kicker. I was a
Yeah.
kicker. Kicked field goals, extra points, things of that nature. And I was
Oh,
a lineman.
you
I
make
also played line.
you make $10 million in the NFL now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if the first one you miss, you're cut.
Hey, don't miss him.
That's
You only
right.
got one thing to do, okay? You got one thing to do.
Yeah, but now you got to do it from 65 yards.
I know, isn't that amazing? I kicked one in high school. This is 1973, 45 yards.
Whoa.
And so I thought I was going to go to college and play. And I went to college, Ball State there in Indiana. I went there for a semester and I realized several things that you can't be a student athlete and learn anything. It's a business, the priorities are football, football, football.
Right, right.
So I transferred to a small D3 school out in California to become a real student athlete, to get my education and everything.
And what school was that, TK?
It was run by the Christian Brothers. It's St. Mary's College of California. It's just outside of Berkeley and
Oh, okay.
in Northern California by San Francisco.
Were you sent there by your parents or by the police?
It was part of the Federal Witness Protection Program, actually. But hey, they had a more colorful name for it, so I don't remember what that was, Douglas. But I do remember I was told get out, stay out, and don't come back.
So out in California. Now, how long were you out in California?
I was there for 2 years,
Uh-huh.
and then went back, transferred back to Indiana to go to Indiana University to study business. And that's
Oh,
where
okay. And
that's
and were you graduated from Indiana
yeah,
University?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
And those are the Hoosiers, right?
Hoosiers ranked
Who's
number 3 in the charts, man.
right now? Yes, because
Yeah,
they're 6-0 this year.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And they put a whooping on Oregon.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
you know it's serious. Indiana football. They had a front page article on the Wall Street Journal about Indiana football. Now that if that's news, well, and the journal picks it up, that's something. Yeah.
Yeah, but remember last year, you and I were watching Indiana
Oh
and
yeah,
how they
yeah.
were proceeding. You and I and my neighbor Brian behind me here, he's went to Indiana. He was on the
Oh
bicycle
yeah, yeah. They have a
team.
big. Matter of fact, they made a movie about that. They're
Yes,
breaking away. That
breaking away. Yes, and
yeah.
Brian was on the biking squad at Indiana, and you went to Indiana, and
Mhm.
you and I had our eye on the Indiana football last year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They it's exciting. I mean, I'm hearing from people that have, And all they're saying, can you believe it? Can you believe it? So it's caused a lot of excitement. Because Indiana's been a basketball school factory for many years, going back to Bob Knight and even before that.
Right.
So
The great movie Hoosiers, right?
yes, yes.
With Gene Hackman. Yeah.
Yep. And matter of fact, if you ever go up to Indiana and you're driving out in the farmlands, you'll see one thing all the time. You'll see a barn, and on the barn, it's a basketball rim.
Uh,
Everybody has a basketball rim on their house or their barn because that's what they do. They play
that's what they do.
basketball.
That's what they do. Yeah.
Mhm.
And the thing is, you're out there shooting hoops because someone to play with, shoot with, is 5 miles away, right?
Yeah, pretty close. Pretty close. Now
Yes.
there was a farmer where I up by Fort Wayne that what he would do in the wintertime, he would take his big barn and convert it into a basketball court.
Okay.
And it was open to the public. So you'd be driving out this rural area and you'd see like 10, 15 cars parked in this barn. And
Yes. Yeah.
all the high school kids, so junior high kids, whatever, are in there playing basketball.
Yeah. 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 I love that. That's the very same thing as a Field of Dreams, where
Yeah.
in the movie, Kevin Costner built a baseball field in the back of his his house in
Hmm.
the middle of nowhere, and people
Yeah.
came because of playing to play baseball. And I think now it's a big tourist attraction.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
love that attitude and the whole aspect of uh, somebody doing something like that for the kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Really.
think that's terrific, terrific.
Hmm.
When we lived in Virginia, we had the only in McLean, Virginia, we had the only flat yard in the whole neighborhood, so that was our football field.
Yeah. Football, baseball. Yeah.
Yeah, right there. And we had a hoop above the garage, but because of the front yard was the only flat area in the neighborhood, my mother says, "Oh, can't you play someplace else? The grass is all torn up, blah, 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 tufts of grass here." And I said,
Yeah.
"Oh, Mom, that's
No.
the football field."
Exactly.
Long ago and far away. So you went to Indiana University. You were studying business, correct?
Yes. I studied
Market,
marketing. Yep.
marketing. Where did you get your first job?
I got it at a department store here in Dallas called Sanger Harris, which is now
Oh,
Macy's.
I
But
remember Sanger Harris. Yes.
yeah, and it was an interesting thing. I just thought about this the other day. So they would come, the companies would come on campus and you'd interview, during your last semester. And
Job
so,
fairs.
pardon?
Job fairs.
Yeah, yeah. So you'd go to, and so I talked with several department stores, and I talked to Sanger Harris, and they offered me a job, and I moved down here, and it was fun. I mean, it was really exciting. So about six, but prior to that, I had to make a resume. And when you're 18, 19 years old, your resume just really doesn't work very well, right? I work for the city park board or blah, 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 blah. So I was looking at this and I was just happening to talking to my brother Steve, who owns the tannery up in Wyoming. And I said, man, my resume needs some work, man. I don't have any experience. And he said, well, why don't you just put down that you're my regional manager for Indiana, working for the tannery. That's the name of my company. I said, okay, I'll do that. So I go through all the interview processes, different companies. No one ever mentions it, right? And so I get down to Sanger Harris. I got a job. And about 6 months later, I'm at a company function and I see the lady, her name was Laura, who was in charge of the hiring. She was the person who gave me the final okay to hire me. So I'm chit-chatting with her and I said, hey, Laura, what was the final determinant that you hired me? What was it that, you thought I'd be a good employee? She thought for a minute and she goes, well, let me think. Your grades were not that good. I remember that. You didn't have any experience in retail. But working as the regional manager for the tannery in Wyoming, now that was impressive. I said, Yes, it was. Thank you so much. Turned around, walked away, saying to myself, I'm never going to talk to her again. I'm never going to talk to her again.
She lived in a dream. You lived in a dream. Don't ruin it by talking.
Exactly, exactly. If that's what she thinks, I'm not going to correct her.
Right, right. Now, did you work at the Sanger Harris there at North Park?
No, they didn't have a store in North Park. Um, they had a downtown store in downtown Dallas, was just down the street from Neiman Marcus. And then they had a store in Preston Center. Uh, and then they had a store in Valley View, but they never had a store in North Park. You're thinking,
TK, TK, okay. I'm confused and I could use your brilliance.
okay, there was a
I lived
Joski's.
I lived in University Park and
Yeah,
went to North Park in Dallas every other week, every other
yeah.
twice a week, whatever, because of the beautiful restaurants there and that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
And I thought there was a Sanger Harris there because one Christmas when I was just starting in my acting career, I was Santa Claus at Sanger Harris. Breakfast with Santa Claus.
Well, now they had a store in Highland Park Village, but Joski's was the department store. The Joski's and Neiman's were the two anchor department stores in North Park.
Very, very interesting. Now, I'm talking
Yeah,
1977
yeah,
through
yeah,
81.
yeah.
Okay. Uh, a gentleman's bet of a Dr. Pepper. I
Oh,
think there was a Sanger Harris there.
all right. Well, fire it up, baby.
We could always stand to be corrected. Don't yell at us. We're getting a little old. The blonde hair,
Getting a little fuzzy.
little foggy in here. No caffeine. Yeah. Don't yell at us. I think there was a Sanger Harris there because of my playing Santa Claus.
Well, that's a very valid point, Douglas. So we'll look that up and we're going to bet a big Dr. Pepper or a small Dr. Pepper.
Oh, the 16 ouncer.
Okay, perfect. That's my
I mean,
favorite size.
you're not saying much about your manhood when it's just one of those little teeny cans.
Well, I was talking about a quart, a liter.
Oh no, that's way too much for our sugar. For us at our age, that's not Dr. Pepper's, that's diabetes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, when I first got the Sanger Harris, the first week we had this orientation.
Yes.
And they tell you about, you do this, you don't do that, you do this, you don't do that. And at one point we had a speaker come in who was in charge, who was VP of public relations. And he stands up and he's talking, telling about how great Sanger Harris is because they're very aggressive in being the first in the market. They were the first store to have an escalator. They were the first store to carry a certain type of brand of handbag. And he says, and we were the first uh, company to have telephones. And so he goes on and he says, any questions? Now I'm off the farm, right? Everything's common sense to me. And I raised my hand. I said, now let me understand this correctly. Sanger Harris was the only company with a telephone. And he go very proud. Yes, yes, it was. Sir, I don't think that was a very good business decision. Oh man, his face blows up red. You can hear the oxygen sucked out of the room because of all the people going, I can't believe this kid's questioning it. And he says, well, young man, why do you say that? I said, well, sir, if you're the only one with a telephone, who's going to call you?
You got him, TK. Who's
I mean,
gonna
to
call?
me, I wasn't trying to be funny. I was asking, farm boy sense of, what's right, what's wrong.
Yeah. What's right? What's wrong? You're the only one's got a telephone. Who's gonna call you? Love your humor, TK. Now, how long did you work for Sanger Harris?
I worked for them about 3 years. I was a manager out in the branch stores. Then I went downtown to become an assistant buyer and had some buying responsibilities. And
Which products did you buy?
Sheets and towels,
Sheets and
and
towels.
they're called domestics, and then also juniors, young ladies, jeans, tops, things of that nature.
Okay. And you were at the right age to do research for young ladies, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I was always working. I was always working, trying to make sure that I understood the public demand. Saturday night, Friday night, it's never ending, Douglas. It's just never ending.
And looking at jeans on young ladies, right?
Exactly. Want to make sure that what brand do you prefer?
Now, so you did 3 years at Sanger Harris. You got promoted, and you're now a buyer. Uh,
Mhm.
what happened? That would make you about 25, 26, something like that.
I worked for J.C. Penney for a brief moment,
Hmm.
about 6 months, and then I realized corporate America really didn't agree with me. The way they see things and the way TK sees things, they just they just had a different set of glasses on. So that's when I went to Cafe Pacific and met you, being a waiter.
That's about right. Yes, and it's been a beautiful friendship, and now we're continuing on with Camp Kennerk podcast. Now, then you told me a great story about how you got a job because of your connection there at Cafe Pacific.
Yeah. So as you know, at Cafe Pacific, they have very affluent customers, a lot of successful businesses.
It's number one in the Camp Kennerk Restaurant Hall of Fame.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So one evening, a regular customer was there with some friends and stuff and was serving them. And he says, "Hey, TK," he said, "what do you do in real life?" And I said, "Pardon me?" He says, "Well, you don't seem like a typical waiter. You going to school or something?" I said, "No, I already got my degree." And I told him briefly my background. And I said, "I want to go into sales." He says, "Are you particular about what you sell?" I said, "No, no." He takes my phone number. He says, "The guy's going to call you tomorrow morning." Next morning, a guy called by the name of Pete says, "I guess I'm supposed to talk to you and hire you because of Mr. Wilson's recommendation. When can you come down to the World Trade Center and talk?" So we set an appointment, and turned out that he was a diamond and gold wholesaler,
Oh, very
buying
nice.
jewelry, and ended up he did what we call promotions, trunk shows, 50% off gold jewelry and stuff.
Sure, sure.
Our market was the Mexican border. We,
Oh,
we
okay.
traveled from like Laredo, Eagle Pass, Del Rio, El Paso, going up and down the Mexican border, selling gold to all the Hispanic markets that would come across the bridge and
Hmm.
buy their gold.
Hmm. And that'd be about the time I went on to New York City.
Mhm. Yeah. And so, we're carrying 500, $600,000 worth of diamonds and gold on a regular basis.
Hmm.
And after a while, it was just sort of like, one of these days they're going to figure out that this white guy with blonde hair has got something in that bag of his, you know. So I decided I think I need to get a little safer career opportunity.
And what was then after that?
Then I went into the advertising, promotional advertising for Harvey Daco, the company
Yes.
that I spent 20 years with. I spent over 20 years with them, and very good company, great group of people, love to drink, tell stories, carry on, play golf. I had gone to heaven.
Well, that's what we're trying to create here at Camp Kennerk, where we're drinking beer, watching sports, looking at girls.
Yeah, yeah. So all
We're
I'm
just
doing, I'm just
redefining.
just redefining it a little bit, just twisting it a little bit, always looking for perfection.
That's and Harvey Daco. And now, when you say marketing, what products were you marketing?
Well, we were like we would be called a marketing agency today. We had a list of clients that would have marketing needs. Let's say if it was a manufacturer of widgets that, hey, we're going to a trade show. We need some ideas to get people by the booth. What do you recommend? or
Mhm.
there might be something, like Pier One Imports called me and said, "Hey, we're in a rebranding process for in-store personnel and need some ideas of how we could differentiate the customer from our employees because right now the employees, the people who come in the store can't tell who the employee is because there's no identification. So it came up with the imprinted logo on on golf shirts.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And that was very forward because a lot of companies didn't do that.
Yeah. Well, now it's pretty much the way it
Standard. Yeah, it's standard now. So,
Right, right. Which is interesting when you go to the Apple store at Barton Creek here in Austin, all of the kids down there are wearing t-shirts
yeah,
and it
yeah,
looks sloppy. It just looks sloppy, as opposed to a golf shirt with a nice collar and maybe the Apple logo.
yeah.
They're all wearing t-shirts. And to me, it just looks sloppy, but I come from another
We're
era
the
that
old
isn't
school.
right.
We're the old school where you only get one chance to make a first impression. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So, and you were with Harvey Daco for 20 years, and that's when you came on up to New York City to see me.
Yeah, yeah. I had clients up there. As a matter of fact, interesting situation. I get a call from a friend of mine here in town. He says, "Hey, I got this guy coming in town from Connecticut, and we're gonna be talking about some business. I think you might want to meet him. I think maybe you guys could work together." So meet after work for a beer. We're talking, and he's talking about this new product he's launching. It's water. It's this and that, and it's going to be really great. So we talked for a while and come to terms that yeah, we can work together. I could provide him with services that he needs, and so I'm getting ready to leave. I said, hey, by the way, what's the name of this water company, anyways? He says we're going to call it Fiji Water.
Fiji water.
Yeah. So I launched Fiji Water. I took it from a garage and did all the marketing and promotion for Fiji Water over the first 3 or 4 years.
Now, is Fiji water still in existence?
Oh yeah, that's big time. Yeah, that's a very, very big high price luxury brand.
Okay. You said high price luxury.
I know. Yeah, I lost you on that one.
I get Austin tap water.
Well, I get Ellis County top water. So there.
Yes, yes. So that's very interesting because that means from start to finish, you would have uh, start, created the Fiji water brand and marketing.
Yes.
Now, your expertise can apply to Camp Kennerk
Hmm.
because we are starting our podcast, Camp Kennerk podcast, and this is number 16 to all of our listeners in the galaxy. We're on YouTube, X, Spotify, Facebook. So your expertise of starting a brand and promoting it will be applied here. And our wonderful podcast with a happy camper named Nishi Kromati last night, who is just a charming gal, and she wishes to start her own uh, makeup line. Hopefully, we can help her some
Oh
way.
yeah. Yeah. We got connections.
We
Yeah.
got connections.
We
And
got
then the ideas that you and I have floated around about a website for the terrific $1 million ideas that we've come across already.
yes. Yes.
Already.
Yes.
And I can just see the fruit fly catcher
Hmm.
being a biggie.
That is a gift for the holidays. The thing about that type of item, the fruit fly catcher, is it's a gift for every reason. Birthdays, anniversaries, Valentine's Day. Hey, honey, look what I
Gardeners
got
for
you.
the spring, in the fall when all the vegetables and the flies are out. $1 million idea. Now you're in Midlothian. You're there in the Dallas area, and you've got a couple of boys,
Yep, Kevin and Kyle, or as
twin
I
boys.
call it, I've always wanted to change their name to Pete and Repeat, but their mother wouldn't allow that.
Pete and repeat. Kevin and Kyle. Now, how many Kevin and Kyles are there in the Kennerk family worldwide
They're the only two that I know of.
that you know of? They're
That I know
very
of.
Irish names, but the
Yeah,
only two.
most of my relatives are named after saints.
Oh, and your boys?
They're named after mischievous individuals.
And they're good golfers.
Yes, they got their own little podcast going on, the Kennerk Boys Golf, and
Yeah,
they're doing a lot of posting, getting a lot of followers, and they're having a ball with it. They're working it. Stay away from it. I let them handle it. They created their own logo, and they just
right.
have a great time with it.
Oh, that's terrific. And I understand one of your boys just got a job recently in Huntsville.
Yes, that was Kyle. And Kyle, being the brother that he is, after he got hired, he says, "Oh, by the way, I know a guy who's better than I am, and he needs a job. It's called my twin brother." So, kid you not. So Monday, Kevin went down to where Kyle was working, met with HR, and they said, "Well, we want to hire you, but we have several jobs we want to offer you. You decide which one you want." So,
Whoa. And
yeah.
as of today, have you heard anything?
No, I haven't seen. Kevin hadn't come out of his Xbox room.
What games do they play? What
I
games do
have
they
no idea. You know, I I lost interest after Ping and Pong.
Ping and yeah, King
Yeah,
Kong.
Pac-Man. That's where I got lost.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's understandable. Now that's beautiful situation. Now you and I have been friends for a very, very long time, and it's a beautiful thing. And do you have any? And one of the quirks about you being TK is tell us about your history with popcorn, your family's history with popcorn.
Well, it's always been in our life, because it's a crop that's grown basically in Indiana, Ohio, and Illinois. That's for some reason ideal growing soil and climate.
Okay.
And we had a farm, and you have crops, and you sell to the people who want to buy your product. So there was a large company outside of Fort Wayne that was a popcorn company. They sold retail what was called Jiffy Pop popcorn.
Jiffy Pop.
Jiffy Pop. And I don't know if that brand is still around. It may be. And so we grew the corn for Jiffy Pop popcorn.
Now, would the company come around and kind of advise you how to grow the corn and keep an eye on it and how much
Well,
fertilizer
the way
or
it works, there's several ways. Sometimes what we would actually do, we would just lease the land to a company that would grow the corn.
oh,
Just grow, or sometimes we would grow it, but we found out it's more economical wise to lease the land for a company to come in and use the farm to grow the popcorn, and then they're responsible for all the fertilizing and all the picking and all the excuse me, all the processing. Because see, when you pick popcorn, there's some ways you have to treat it so you could pop it. Because
yes.
so you have to dry it and do different things to it. So that
Okay.
basically at the end, that's what we were doing. We were growing popcorn through a partnership.
Okay. So let's do a little prying, and we call it Texas money game because here in Texas, how big a farm would you have? Did you have
We have about 640 acres.
600? So that's a section,
Yeah, it's a square mile.
square
Yeah.
mile section.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now there are a lot of trees and things of that nature, but as far as what they call
Tillable.
tillable is probably about 325 acres.
Okay. So Texas money game. A company approaches you and says, we're a big popcorn company, and we'll pay you an annual fee so that we can grow popcorn on your land. What sort of fee range, plus or minus? Give us an idea.
That was way above my pay grade. My important life in life that was Little League. So this was stuff that grown-ups talked about.
Oh, I see. I see.
We never got to sit down in those get-togethers.
I see. So to our happy campers around the galaxy, if
Mhm.
you have an idea of what it costs to lease land to grow popcorn up in Indiana, uh, plus or minus a little bit, our curiosity is piqued because this is basic business, and we call it the Texas money game. How much it cost?
No, no. Well, and the great thing, in the Texas money game is, you could be off by like 75 or 80% and still be close.
Oh yeah, because across the street it's cheaper.
Yeah, yeah,
This is
exactly.
what I know.
Yeah,
But it gives us, but it gives us kind of a ballpark figure to start. Well,
yeah.
over here it's $50, but over here it's 75, and over here it's 60.
But
So
you're dealing with a commodity. So
yes,
if you have a drought or you have too much rain,
right.
you can't get it out. Well, the people who got their product out early,
Yes,
they benefit from the shortage to the
yes, yes.
marketplace.
That's why that's why farmers always go to Las Vegas, because they think the roulette wheel is a steady income.
It's right. I mean, tell you, those guys are the biggest gamblers. I mean,
Oh yeah, plant some corn, plant some seeds in March, and
mhm,
expect a profit in October, and
mhm.
no water, grasshoppers, heat, weeds, whatever, broken machinery. Oh yeah, oh sure, they're big gamblers. Yeah. So now, do you have any trips planned
I
soon?
do. I am taking my obligatory retirement trip. You always have to take a trip when you retire. And
Yes.
I have gotten tickets to go to South Bend, Indiana to watch the University of Notre Dame Fighting Irish to play USC Trojans for
Oh, okay.
Saturday
Okay.
afternoon. Now,
Oh,
some people think USC stands for University of Southern California.
right.
But recently they're thinking about changing that to the University of Spoiled Children.
That's a good one, TK.
And
What
when
about
you,
UC? What about UCLA?
well, we haven't got that far. We're just trying to get this name changed in place, and then we'll go from there.
So you're going to the Notre Dame game, and you'll be please ask around, see if you can get Rudy to come be a happy camper
Well, that's
guest.
that's that's why I'm going early. Is I'm going to go back to some of the old haunts and see if we can't find where he lived and knock on the door.
Knock on the door,
Yeah.
tell him he'd fit right
Can
in.
Rudy come out and play? Can Rudy come out and play?
Yeah, that's true. Now, you just retired. This was your last day. Any immediate thoughts? It's over. You've had enough. What's your thought?
Yeah, the you just get worn out. The job I had was a great job. It served its purpose. It wasn't high stress. It wasn't, anything that tore me up. But enough's enough. I just got
Do you
tired.
want to give them? Do you want to give them a shout out and where they're located?
Yeah, I worked for Vanguard Cleaning in Arlington, Texas. We service the Dallas-Fort Worth area for commercial cleaning, like office buildings, doctor facilities, hospitals, to make sure everything was clean, safe, environmentally correct.
Now, you didn't get out there with the vacuum cleaner and the broom, did you?
No, I was what they call the first line of offense,
Okay.
meaning I was the person that did the research for what companies we wanted to go after. And then I would just start calling them. I said, hey, my name's Tom. How do you like me so far? Enough talking about me. Let's talk about you. What do you think of me? Oh, and that usually got some unique responses.
Yeah, I'm sure. As- Now, and then what? You would sell them on your services to bring
Yeah,
a team in. How big? Okay, how many office suites you got? Okay, you could probably use one big team of 5 people or something like that. They
exactly.
come
Yeah.
in at night and that
How
sort of.
many times a week do you want to be cleaned? How many thou, is it 10,000, 100,000, square feet? How
Oh,
many?
okay.
Yeah. So we would do office buildings, 5, 6 story office buildings as well.
Okay. All right. So the name of the company again?
It's Vanguard Cleaning.
It's the cleaning. And how long did you work for them?
4 years.
4 years. And
Yeah.
so you've had enough, and now you're
Hmm.
moving on.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just
Okay.
taking a break. We're
Okay.
gonna
Now,
work on Camp Kennerk podcast, get this thing turning, and see if we can't grow another business.
I think that is a beautiful, beautiful dream, TK, because I'm enjoying the heck out of doing this. Uh, the happy camper yesterday with Nishi Cromarty and our chats on Wednesday night and Sunday mornings with the sports and the
Hmm.
Camp Kennerk football conference. I'm just enjoying it. Oh, uh,
What?
on that note, Nishi is from Huntsville.
That's when she goes to school. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. And the university there is the Sam Houston State University.
Whatever
The
that happens.
Bearcats, the Bearcats.
Bearcat. Bearcat.
Well, and this is Wednesday, and my school, the University of Texas El Paso, is
Yes,
playing tonight
I
in
know.
Houston. And then Nishi was telling us about there's no stadium, so they got to go play in somebody's backyard, maybe, a
Yeah.
cornfield.
They're probably playing down at the church parking lot.
Yeah. Well, because the Miners are 1-5, so
Well, the Bearcats are 0-6, so this is going to be a competitive game. I'll tell you that right now.
they're fighting. They're playing each other to see who can lose.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a bigger loser than you are. No, you're not. Yes, I am.
The kids are out there giving it a shot, and they're just having problems, that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. And it's on a Wednesday night game, and the Miners' next game is next Tuesday. So
Uh-oh. At halftime, I have a score.
you have a score.
I have a score at halftime. UTEP 14, Sam Houston 10. You guys are in the lead.
Which is amazing.
Call the game. Call the game. The game is over with. We're only having 2 quarters this year.
Okay, so if it's in the church parking lot, what do they go over the Whataburger at halftime?
Yeah, yeah. They get Father O'Malley to bless the water, so everyone's drinking holy water.
Beautiful. TK, this has just been too much fun
Yeah.
with you on this momentous day that you are retiring. All I can say is good luck. Go Cowboys.
There you go. Aaron go brawl.